Hi, everyone.
Hi there,
It's Alicia Davis
and Stacy Watson.
from Transformative Leadership Strategies.
Yep,
And Stace,
yep.
do you have feelings?
Well, I feel like I'm going to need another cup of coffee. Does that count?
Yes, it totally does. And we want to talk about this kind of buzzword that's happening all over the place, which is emotional intelligence, right?
Oh, yeah. We hear it all the time, and you
All
read
the
it
time.
even, right, in articles and stories about businesses. People are talking about emotional intelligence a lot.
Right. So let's just talk for a minute about what is it really, because we talk about it a lot. We actually had a workshop, right? We just did a cultivating coach like manager workshop, right?
Yes,
One of the big things that we talked about was really being able to listen,
right,
right?
right.
And
And it was
we all know how
interesting.
to say that, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say it was interesting because we were talking about some of the qualities of being coach-like, and many people talked about listening, the act of listening, listening to understand. So it was definitely top of mind for most of the people in the room.
Yes. And then we did an activity, right? And literally we did like a 3-minute parent share, right? And we said, okay, really just listen. You're not listening to problem solve. You're just listening to understand.
Right.
And it was really kind of insightful for people to actually do that, right?
It really was. I think you and I were even a little surprised at how people felt like when they were listening, really, truly sort of embodying the act of listening, not just thinking about listening or talking about listening, their experience was really different.
It was.
And I
And
think that's what we find with emotional intelligence, sort of, right? That thinking about what it is, like everyone has some sort of brain based thoughts about what emotional intelligence is and what it means and how do you do it and all of that. And
right.
the act of acting emotionally intelligent can actually look and feel a little different.
That's right. And it's so if we just talk about what emotional intelligence is, simplest form, it's your ability in the moment, right now. Like if you and I were having, a disagreement about something and I
Yep.
was getting upset, right? It would be me in the moment being able to notice that I'm getting upset, not just get upset and then start, yelling, or I don't think I would ever yell, but you know, start not being
Yes.
able to have a conversation with you about it, and to actually be able to breathe and to actually be able to notice, and then to recognize and then be able to regulate my
Yes.
feelings, my energy, my reaction, right? So instead of reacting, we talk about the difference between reacting and responding,
Yes.
right? So
Absolutely.
it's the ability in the moment to do that. And what we find, right, it's that really profound thing. And it's different. It's harder to do that in different environments.
Well, it's definitely different to do that. And I think it can be harder to do that depending on the kind of work environment. And it's important, I think, when you're looking at how to cultivate these emotional intelligence skills and practices, to do that with an eye toward like where am I working and what's going on here and how might this workplace differ from another workplace, and how does that sort of inform how we think about emotional intelligence.
Exactly.
You know,
Because,
it's
go ahead.
well, I was just going to say it's so funny because a lot of times people look at emotional intelligence and some of the behaviors associated with it and call them soft skills. And that's what I mean. I grew up and
Yep.
going in business, and they were always talking about these soft skills. So we're going to talk about the budget and we're going to talk about our strategy, and then we might have a minute to talk about these soft skills. And what you and I are finding, and I think what we know, is that these are really core skills. Like to
That's
be
right.
able to run a business successfully of any kind, the more you have command and understanding and embodiment of these skills, the more you are able, as you said, to be really responsive as opposed to reactive in whatever the situation.
That's right. That's right. And we know that we also do a lot of work in the nonprofit space, right? And I think it's a whole nother level when you're working with people that are in trauma or in distress and you're serving them, you're providing care for them. I think it adds a whole nother complexity to being emotional intelligent, because as care providers, I think there's a higher level of stress, kind of that fight, flight, or freeze. And so I think that, with our nonprofit clients, we certainly find even I mean, I think it's always important, and I think there's even some more nuance to how to really apply some of these emotional intelligence skills in those kinds of environments.
Yes, I totally agree. The other interesting thing that I think we've really come to appreciate, even just over the past 6 or 8 months, is the connection between emotionally intelligent behaviors and the active inclusion.
That's right. Because when you're emotionally intelligent, you're being empathetic. You're
That's
being,
right.
curious about, well, what am I feeling? What is the other person feeling? And when you can offer that kind of curiosity and empathy to yourself, then you can be more of that to another person. And that's very much a foundational experience for being inclusive.
Well, I know you and I could talk about this topic
We could,
forever.
we could, we got to
And
stop.
yep, and next week we're going
Tuesday,
to be offering one more of our nonprofit leadership roundtable conversations, and the topic is emotional
emotional
intelligence.
intelligence.
So, what
Right.
are the details on that?
Well, the deets are it's 8:45 to 10. It's at our office in Spaces in Blueback Square, 71 Raymond Road. And if you would like to join us, uh, email us info@tlstransforms.com, or there'll be a link in the newsletter.
Great. We hope everybody can join us, and let's keep the conversation going.
Okay. Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.